Hello. Hi, everyone. It's me. It's Tammy Pescatelli. I wanted to say hello and welcome to 3 a.m. Friend Ho. How's everyone tonight? Are we doing good? Huh? How about some claps, some thumbs up? It's nice to see everybody. Ross, I love you. So good to see your happy, smiling face. Christy, Natalie's weight bot, Lily, my weight bot, the weight bot. As you know, I sometimes have a great time doing these shows and I can handle all the technology at once and sometimes a little bit slow. I have to admittedly tell you that I am in an Amber Heard Johnny Depp coma, and anyone who poops in my bed is going to get hit, no matter what, male, female, dog, cat, either way, just so you know. So let me tell you that trigger warning before we get started, okay? We're going to start right away. Let's start there right away. Now Greg Proops was supposed to be with us tonight. He has a new album that he's released and he's been crazy and running around. So we're gonna hold him for later on in the month. We're gonna record off air and bring it back to you guys. I was really, really lucky to be able to call one of my special pals just a few hours ago who stepped in, a real true 3 a.m. friend, my very funny, hilarious, and super strong pal, Christy Miller. Christy, I'm going to invite you to video and I'm going to invite you to speak. Christy just downloaded everything for me. So, Christy, let me make sure I can get you to video because everybody needs to see your beautiful face. Did it work out for you?
I don't know. Turn on video by accepting your. Oh, here we go.
That's all. All you have to really do is
I'm 100. I'm 100.
Technology is tough, as we could tell. Now, right away before we get started, Chrissy, I don't see your video, my love.
Oh.
There you are, gorgeous, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Christy Miller. How are you? Coming all the way from New York City, right?
Oh yeah. And boy, are my arms tired.
I know. You see, hello to everybody. There's Michael and Chris and Jana and everyone. So many people are living in New York now. And do you feel like things are going back to normal a little bit in New York?
We've been back to normal for so long that I miss lockdown.
I don't know what normal is. I just found out that there is a new disease that just hit the first case in Massachusetts today. It'll scare the hell right out of you.
Marriage?
It's from it seems like it's like from a horror film, like a John Carpenter film. Yeah. It's called monkeypox, for real. I'm not making that up. You don't get it.
All right, what racist Irish guy called it that? That's what I want to know.
Monkeypox is what it is. A pox on your family and a whole monkey. And
we had chicken.
I don't know what it is. I don't care to know what it is. I don't want to know. I'm already dealing with my husband's allergic to blue. So I was like, did you used to date Smurfette? What happened there? So it's so ridiculous. So, okay, let's talk, you and I. I'm going to give a background to everyone. Christy and I met at the Comedy Store. One of the very first nights I went to the store, there was Andrew Dice Clay hanging out on the back steps. Mitzi had already passed me. She was kind of she was probably for you as well, Christy, like our godmother.
She was totally my godmother.
Yeah, let's talk about Mitzi a little bit for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, when you first met her, she wasn't. I mean, like, because you do some great impersonations on stage.
Yes.
You did. I don't know if you're still doing them in your act.
I still do sometimes for special occasions. Like when Gilbert died, I pulled out my Gilbert Gottfried I do Gilbert Gottfried doing Angel Salazar's act. And it's because it's so bad. It's funny. I do Mitzi, but it's just for us, like you remember Mitzi. Oh, you're good. Oh, yeah. That's great. Oh, that's one. Oh, I love her. Like she was the godmother. Like when I started there, I was a waitress. Me and Eleanor. Yeah, Eleanor and I and Lauren Peltz and Jennifer Freeman. And Like we
Lauren
were,
went on to be an agent. Eleanor, we're
yes.
talking about is Eleanor Kerrigan, a very, very funny comedian. I mean,
Hmm.
let's just say this. There weren't a lot of places for women. There weren't a lot of
Mm-mm.
women that were in comedy. And Mitzi was almost
Mm-mm.
tougher on women because she wanted us to be good. I have to say, like she was tough, and if you didn't pass her, there's a lot of female comics that are working today that are at a high level that Mitzi did not pass, and we sat in the back of the room,
Yeah.
and you and I would both be going, come on, pass her, she's good, and nah, she's not ready.
No, she's not ready, or she's too polished. Nah, because Mitzi liked them raw. She liked us, just torn down to the nothing. Like she loved all the raw nerves that stuck out of us.
Yeah, so
She encouraged us to be who we are. She didn't want us to be cookie cutter. That's for the improv. Ugh, no, that won't
well,
work
she
here.
wanted us to be like, the thing about it is that comedy back then really was, it's weird. There was like almost a segregation because, I remember coming to the comedy store. I am an improv girl. I started in the improvs, on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Bud Friedman gave me, one of the first times I ever got on stage, in Los Angeles. And then there he goes, his son, my sweet Ross. There he is, Ross, and gave me my first television appearance, which was the Tonight Show. So I was polished, but I was also broken inside. So Mitzi
Yes.
wanted that to come out. So I think that was one of the things. I knew how to be a professional. And then I also knew the place where I could just get on stage and almost have a nervous breakdown. Because
But you were also a strong, opinionated woman. Like you weren't like this soft little soft-spoken, shy, mousy girl. You go on stage and you may be polished, but you still stand your ground. You know who you are, and you're very opinionated and you're strong-minded. You don't take shit. Just because you're poised and beautiful doesn't mean you can't, you're not going to take, flack off. I'm learning non-cuss words today, so this is my.
that's okay. You're my one of my besties, so you're allowed to make a mistake.
Aw.
Listen, here's the thing, Christy. I know that we came up in a harder time. What do you think about all of these people that are rushing the stage? I will tell you, for me, what I've been saying is when I get on stage, I'm like, if there is something that I say that makes you not be able to be in control of yourself, that you feel like you have to pop up and run at me, a la Will Smith and that guy who came at Chappelle, you should know things have not worked out exactly the way I thought it would in my life. And I would love to hit somebody. So what about you? Like what are your things that you're doing when you're getting on stage to prepare for that kind of stuff now?
Well, I see. I've always been controversial. I've always pushed the boundaries. I always, say things that people are afraid to say, and I go because I don't care. I
Well,
just don't.
and may
And
I interrupt you really quickly? For
of
those of you
course.
who are just, and you don't know my beautiful friend Christy, all you see is a beautiful face and she's super funny, but you're not, her body is spectacular. I think she's got like 4% body fat, if that, and that's probably
I
calling her
wish.
chubby. That's probably
Tammy's
calling you
being
chubby.
nice.
Like she is buff here. Like she literally is like she could crack a head with her thighs. I mean, she's definitely so.
And I've tried.
But do you feel like that sometimes your physical prowess sometimes is intimidating even off stage?
Oh, very. When I walk into a room, I walk into a room, and I know that. I'm very intimidating. I'm very large. I'm a large presence, not so much like gigantic,
Yeah,
but
you're not a
I'm
large,
a
but
very
you walk
I'm a
with strength.
large presence. When I walk into a room, like when I go to a comedy club, I'm in the club. Even if you don't see, It's the smell, sweetie. It's terrifying, but it's
That's her share, ladies.
okay. Yeah. And but I also, I don't have any fear, and I know I learned that over the years because of the Comedy Store. Because look at the late nights at the store were insane and fun, insane. But I
So you
also learned that working with Paul Mooney all those years too. And I've never had I've had one incident recently, like, but it was pre Chappelle and pre Chris Rock. It was these four drunk kids in the front row since before the show started wanted to be a part. They were trying to get on stage. They were grabbing the mics off the stage. And the manager's like, you can't do that. I'm like, throw them out before we go up. I'm not going up. I'm going to fight these kids.
Right.
And then I tried to fight them because they tried to fight the MC and the feature. So I go, you want to throw down? Let's do this. And then they're like, oh, I don't hit a woman. I said, well, I don't hit women either, but I'm willing to give it a shot tonight. Like, I can out bench press your dad. You know, like, I'm bigger than your dad. What are you gonna do to me? You know,
that's so funny. You could beat up their dad. It's a funny time. I just got it's funny because it's amazing time for women, but not for women of our age.
No,
I think
bingo.
it's a really weird thing. And I've talked about this before where it's great to see all these young girls shine, but just because I'm over 50 doesn't mean I'm not still funny. I personally feel like I'm in the best of my game on stage, right?
We are in our prime and we have the life experience to back it up. So these young kids
And
that come
no
on,
cares. We give no Fs, you know what
because
I mean,
we
on
grew up.
stage.
We're Gen X. We're Gen X. We extra give no Fs. You
Yeah.
know.
Well, so listen to this. Listen to what just happened. And it's these
Okay.
little things that happen all the time and no one knows. So I received a phone call about a show that they wanted me to do with two other guys that are of the same ilk, about the same exact TV credits. You would know their names. It's not the guy's fault. But by accident, the booker sent over to my agent the full contract, and the full contract showed that the offer to the two guys, now we're all doing a half hour,
right?
We're all I'm actually either going in the middle or closing. I'm not even first.
Right.
They offered me 50 cents on the dollar to what they offered the guys.
Yep.
And I not only passed, but I called up and I said, you know what? I told my agent, listen, I have nothing to lose. I said the most Sicilian thing I've said in decades. I'm going to make a phone call. And I called them and I said, it's tone deaf. Are you ridiculous? I can match. It's not about me and the guys. It's not a competition. I want my brothers to get all the money that they can get. But for the booker to offer me 50%, 50 cents on the dollar to what he's offering them, it doesn't even make sense.
It's disgusting. Is what it is. It's like, if you can afford to pay them this, then you can afford to pay me this because I'm also a comedian.
And he said, and I said, and I'll be honest with you, even at 50%, it was a decent offer. And in the way things have been, I wanted to take it in my head, like when you look at things for my family and how I have to take care of them. But I had to make a stand and go, look, I'm not taking this offer. And I think you should be embarrassed because I may or may not tell people about this. Now, I'm not telling you his name. And I actually ended up getting my money up. So now it's called Favored Nations for those of you who are watching, and we're all making the same money. But the idea of it is that he had the audacity, the unmitigated gall to offer me half in 2022. And I was almost afraid to shake the boat. And then I just said, forget it. I'm going to say something and we're going to let the chips fall where they may. He's either going to hire me or he's not. But I have to stand up for other people. So, I mean, how about that? Everybody who's watching, Stephanie, Lily, Natalie. Now, listen, we see down there, we see Ross. Let me tell you about Ross. Ross always offered women the same thing. As far as I know, he's offered women the same amount of money on his gigs. Like it's an even Steven. I don't know who Steven is, but.
Well, we know he's even.
It's hard sometimes. We tend to make ourselves smaller, which is why I have a hard time. I have been addicted to this Amber Heard Johnny Depp case. I feel it. And I really, really, really see both sides because I really don't know where the truth lies. But I will tell you, as someone who was a survivor of domestic violence, it really touches a nerve. Now, I know you've been through some violent episodes. Let's tell everybody what happened to you while you were on the train in New York.
Oh, well, it was November 2019, and I was on the train going to the gym, and then I had a spot that night downtown. And I'm just standing there, and this crazy guy starts fiddling with his phone and crawling around the floor. And then the train pulls up to the stop, and he stands up, looks at me, puts his phone in my face, and punches me right in the eye and knocked me out.
I can't even hear it again.
Honey, it's okay.
I can't even hear it again. It's
Mama.
heartbreaking to me, because you had to have several surgeries.
I just got out of an eye surgery from a bad infection that I had in my tear ducts, and then I was just healing from that, and then he busted it open. So that sucks. I went back in the hospital. It was just overnight. I was fine. There was no damage. Thank God I had on these fake glasses. I was wearing like sunglasses that day, and that kept the knuckle from pushing the eye into the socket. So cheap sunglasses will save you every time if you get punched in the face.
So it's important.
Yes. Like that song, I wear my sunglasses at night so you can see, because you get punched in the face by a crazy person.
Okay, so tell me this. Now we're some time out from that and you're recovered. What do you think that has done in twofold? Do you think that's made you pay attention to your surroundings? I mean, you always did, but I think sometimes you felt strong. You feel strong. You could walk. And do you feel like maybe you were not as afraid as maybe someone who was a little bit smaller than you, and now you pay attention more?
I have a little PT because I got hit again during COVID. Because I live in the theater district in Midtown in Hell's Kitchen.
You just keep saying dumb stuff to people, right? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I just breathe,
Just kidding. Guys, we're comedians. Woman. We can say this to each other. That's the hard part. People are like, oh Tammy, my God. Everybody's looking like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone.
Tammy, what it was is I breathed in a man's oxygen. And I shouldn't do that. I should know my place.
Yes. You know that old joke they used to tell. That's how bad life used to be. Is a woman had two black eyes and said, "What happened to you?" Well, I didn't listen the second time.
Yeah. Well,
those were real jokes.
Yeah. What do you tell a woman who has two black eyes? Nothing. She's been told twice already. Good night.
There you go.
Thank you.
Right.
All week.
That's called linear thinking, Christy. And some people will take a polygraph test to refute the fact that they stole that from you.
This is how, because I cope by when tragedy happens or something bad happens, I have to make fun,
right?
Because that's my coping mechanism, is laughing. So Aaron Berg called me that night. He goes, "You out of the hospital?" And I said, "Yeah."
Very funny comic,
super funny dude, calls me because he had a Monday night show at the stand. So he goes, "You out of the hospital?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I just got home." Why? And he goes, "Why don't you come down to the stand on my show and talk about getting hit?" He goes, "Don't do material, just talk about it, see what comes out." I'm like, "That's a good idea." He goes, "It'll be good. Just get yourself out of it." So I went down and I went on stage and I said, "This is what happens when you don't make your man sandwich fast enough." And the whole place just fell out, dying laughing.
Wow.
Because that's my humor. So that's how I cope.
Well, it's so important. And I know the comics do it all the time. We do the thing where it's tragedy plus time equals comedy. Mm-hmm. And depending on who you are is how short or how long that time is. The world is having a really hard time right now understanding the difference between jokes and bullying. So I think it's important that people hear that story from you. It was important for me to go on stage the day after my father died and keep that commitment, because it's important that other people laugh. You don't know when your last day is. So I also think that those who get it. And some people need comedy and some people need therapy and others need sorcery, but we'll figure it all out.
And some just need to go,
So this is the part of the show. We have a few more minutes left, about 10 minutes. I open it up. If you guys have any questions, you want to talk to us. Here's the one great thing about Christy and I. We're both great at giving advice. We are such
yes.
good 3 a.m. friends. And let me explain to you,
Yes.
for those of you who are watching, that's the person that's your true friend that you could call. They will show up. And it's basically like that scene in the Ben Affleck movie where they just say, whose car are we taking? You know, some people are going to get hurt. We're never going to speak about it again. And then it's, whose car are we taking? Chrissy and I are those type of friends. We don't have to talk all the time. We don't have to see each other all the time, but we show up that way. Who do you show up for? Call, open up. Let me know who you show up for. Do you have a 3 a.m. friend? Is there something you want to talk about that we can try to help you make funnier? Or, you know,
Right.
I mean, between the two of
Or is
us,
there
we
a
went
friend
through.
of theirs that shows up for them? Is there
That's right.
someone that's always showing up for them?
That's right, Kevin. We're going to open up. Here's Kevin Davies. Hi, Kevin. I'm going to
Thanks for
invite.
having me.
Do you
Glad to
mind
be
if I invite you to video?
No, not at all.
There you go. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
My 3 a.m. friend currently lives here with me. They're super awesome. I don't know what I would do without them. I was completely lost before we found each other.
That's great.
I've had so-called friends before. Having been in the United States Marine, I've been a friend to people before, and I know what that actually means. I've been a 3 a.m. friend
Your
to people.
service, by the way.
But when it goes out, time to actually make people that will actually provide that service in return, it's not always they're hard to come by.
Kevin, where were you stationed?
I know that place.
Allergies.
That's
Sorry.
what I was going to say. That sounds like I have been to the Middle East, and that's kind of how you say a lot of those names. That's in
Parris Island,
Afghanistan,
South
right?
Carolina. I went to Camp Geiger, North Carolina, and after my ancillary training at Camp Geiger, I went to 29 Palms, California for my 2800 Ocfield training, which ground communications organizational repair. I fixed everything from the Colonel's Son's Xbox to sophisticated satellite telecommunications and then cryptographic equipment. Then I got my first duty station in Okinawa, Japan.
Wonderful.
It was awesome. Loved it. Can't wait to go back. Got a by name request to be an instructor for the same class that I was taught in. And so I went back to be an instructor in 29 Palms, California. Deployed with 3rd LAR Battalion out of 29 Palms, California in 2011, 2012. And got out in 2012, December. And moved
Thank
back
you for your
Well,
service.
thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. How's civilian life treating you?
Give me a second. Let me tell you.
Have monkeypox? That's all I need. I think I have to ask.
Allergies. It's allergies. It's horrible. Don't ever get allergies.
Oh,
I'm allergic. I'm allergic to my family, so trust me, I know.
Right, what did you ask me again? You
Well,
asked me
I
a
was
question.
asking you how civilian life has been treating you. As brief as possible, if you could, because we were almost done with the show. But
so, I was actually driving on the highway right after I got out here in Virginia, and I remember thinking to myself, Jesus, like, do any of these motherfuckers know where the hell they're going? Like,
can we try
know what they're doing? Pardon my French. Yeah. Does anybody know what's going on? Does anybody know what they're doing? And so I thought to myself, like, there must be a veteran somewhere. And that's the reason why anything is working, is because there's a veteran working really hard somewhere. And that's why anything even works. And that was like my initial experience coming out. And it really hasn't changed very much. No offense. There's plenty of awesome people that are doing great work all over the place. But it's just like, it's really chaotic right now. And from a veteran's perspective, it's your guys' world is very different.
Sure.
It's very, very different out here. There's in the military, there's no slop. There's no room for it. We can't afford it. Here, there's a lot more slop, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But from our perspective, it's like a machinist who's used to making high precision equipment, right? And then you're like, well, I just need you to make this quick, easy, dirty thing that doesn't require a lot of precision. And it's just like, what do you mean? It doesn't compute. And it's been very frustrating, as a veteran, and learning that not everybody is on the same page as the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Kevin, I will tell you that we really do. Your sacrifice to our country has not been lost on so many people. I hope that you are getting whatever you need to laugh, whether it's whatever services are available to you. I just hope that you are that you know in your heart how grateful so many people are.
Yes.
We thank you, and we thank you for tuning in and sharing that with us. It's really
I'm here to serve, guys. I love you.
Well,
I'm here.
Kevin, anytime I'm anywhere near you, your tickets for you and a guest are on me. Okay, so just make sure you reach out. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you.
Bye, Kevin. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. I ended up leaving myself.
Bye, Tammy.
No, don't. No, hold on. I'm back. I left myself. Isn't that funny? Wow, wonderful. Thank you to Kevin. Does anybody else? We have a few more. Hi, everybody. Guys, can you just, it's fun with these emojis. I've learned about it. Chris, did you see the emojis? Like Michael has
them,
a
I
Ross
see emojis.
Is laughing. Jana's laughing. That's so neat. So, and then there's the birthday sound. I don't know what that is. That's Lily. But I also just see all the chat. That's so funny. I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. It's about my 10th show. But you know why? To me, it's I have to focus on what I do. When we are comedians, I can't serve your drinks and tell you the jokes. I have to only pick one thing to do. Is there anybody else that we can open up to? I mean, we're happy to help you. Oh, hi, Natalie. How are you? Natalie Katona, right? I'm going to accept your request. I'm going to invite you to video if you don't mind. Let's see, Natalie, where are you? There you go.
It's okay if I don't.
No, that's okay if you don't mind. It's up to you. You can deny it, but I did invite you to video.
All right. Give me 1 second.
Natalie is the creator and host to All the Men I've Tolerated Before. I just saw that in your bio. That's pretty cool. Thank you.
Thank you. We're a year strong so much. I don't know what happened, but I hit accepted and then it went away. It's telling me that I'm on video.
Well, there you go. I think it's popping up now. What do you think?
Maybe. One of the things that you said about Christy. Hi, Christy. And
hi, sweetie.
Always knowing that she's in the room and her big personality. I am currently living in the Midwest, and I find that when I'm the biggest personality in the room, I end up just like burning out my friendships who aren't my 3 a.m. friends, my just like peripheral friends, if you will.
Yes.
And I was just wondering if you have also experienced that, if you feel a lot of the times your friends are just in the mindset that you're just too much for right now.
None of my true friends.
Right.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I've never felt that way. I usually get rid of people before they get rid of me because I have a low tolerance. And if it's someone's annoying or dragging me down or trying too hard to be big personality, to be funny or whatever, it's like, just be yourself around me and it's cool. But anyway, when you're in your 50s, like our friendship circles get real small. So we've kind of got, trimmed off the fat and we just narrowed down to our handful of really close friends. That's just me, but I don't really do the small chatter, even though in the comedy clubs you have to, but I'm like in and out. I do my spot, I'm gone.
Well, that's why we don't have bigger careers because we don't do the small talk.
Yeah,
I will tell you, Natalie, I really, really, really have lived by, and this started for me even in my family, you know what I mean? Even in the core group of just, I can't make myself smaller to accommodate someone else's insecurities.
Don't ever.
I think that is so important. I have always known who I am, probably from about age 17, 18 years old. Yeah. And it's unfortunate because when you know who you are and you walk in that knowledge and in that honesty and in that truth, people around you who are insecure in themselves and who do not wish the best for you. People can be around you that are insecure and they can have to grow and you help them. But people who do not wish the best for you, it will shake them. You will find them. They will pop up. It's like they're the first kernel to pop into popcorn. And then those people you have to cast aside. So I think count it as a blessing that when you are so powerful in the knowledge and the presence of yourself, that those people are exiting your path. And then that only leaves those who are really on your side. So
I really appreciate that, because I think that's where I am currently. I'm right in the middle of, I turned 30, or, well, I'm 33 now, but I entered my 30s.
Yeah.
I stopped giving an F about anything and everything. And now it's the rippling effects of people still viewing me as the person I was when I was 25 or a teenager or whatever, and still feeling like they can treat me any certain way or things like that. Cause it's just like a ripple effect, and you start reevaluating everything when you finally get secure with yourself.
I want to add to what Tammy was saying. Also, when you live in your, like in your truth, when you're like, when you really know who you are as a person and you're very comfortable in your skin and you carry that energy with you because you don't care and you know who you are, you'll attract like-minded or people that also know who they are and are stable. And the ones that aren't are going to detract and run or try to pull you down or say stuff about you. You just have to like ignore the chatter. It's hard, but you will attract like-minded people like you.
Water rises to its own level.
Yep, exactly.
Natalie, but you're 33. Yep. Grow, make those mistakes, allow people to treat you bad once, because you have to meet people in order to figure out who your lifelong, who your besties, who your 3 a.m. friends are. Allow them to have the opportunity to treat you bad once and then be done. Do not, I'm not a huge believer of second and third chances. I'm not saying that they can't be in your life, but never rely on them as your 3 a.m. friend again until they've proven as such. Unless, or that's a whole Dr. Phil, unless or until. So I hope that helped, Natalie. I mean, now hopefully you're not just walking around calling up your besties going, goodbye, goodbye.
No, I've already drafted the breakup text. I'm like, all right, everybody.
Well, we'll do it for you if you're afraid. I had always wanted to do this show where I just did all the hard jobs for people. I broke up with people. I helped them quit their jobs. Maybe next week we'll start that. If there's somebody you want me to call in your life and tell them to get lost, we'll do it. So
that would be fantastic.
I'm so into that.
Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Natalie.
Bye.
All right, everyone. So, Christy, have you had some fun?
I had a blast. I always have fun with you. I miss you because we never get to see each other because we're both so busy.
I know, and I never want to FaceTime because I hate the way I look sometimes. And
stop.
Well, no, you know what? I'm learning to get better with that, because the older I get, I see pictures where I didn't like myself and tried to hide the picture. And now I'm like, oh my God, I wish I looked like that. So it's fun.
I do that all the time. I'm like, what was my problem?
I know. I have reverse body dysmorphia. I think I'm actually pulling it off until I see a picture. Then I'm like, oh my God. Broad. Hey, right before we're getting ready to leave, is there anybody who needs anything from us? Is there anything we can help you? Can we be your 3 a.m. friend? Is there something you'd like to talk about before we go? It's awesome that you were all here. I want to thank you all, Woody, Natalie, Chris, Jana, and of course, Michael, Ross, and more than anything, Christy. I love you.
I love you so much, Mama.
Thank you so much.